Hi, welcome to Straight Talk. I want to welcome all of our new viewers and let you know that our goal here is to educate you about the opiate crisis, about the drug abuse crisis, so that you're better equipped in your city, your town, wherever you're watching from, better equipped to be able to handle this serious epidemic. And we focus on different topics every single month. So today we're talking about the community outreach, aftercare, what happens with people when they leave treatment. And we're going to talk a lot about how do you select the right program. And joining me is Matt Paris, who was the Director of Community Outreach at the Fresh Start Recovery Center. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Nice to be here. Now, Fresh Start is part of the Amethyst Health many programs that are in many states, part of their system.
That is correct.
And tell me about the program. Where are you?
So Fresh Start Recovery Center is located in Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Okay.
We are one of, again, many programs under the Amethyst Health Corporation.
Okay. So you serve DC, Virginia, Maryland.
Correct.
You're kind of all out there.
Correct.
Okay, very good. Now, you know, I get a lot of questions from viewers that want to know, how do I know I'm picking the right program?
Absolutely.
You know, there's a lot of, I think we're at a point now, maybe you do too, that this epidemic is reaching a point now where people need help. Mm-hmm. It's not like we have to teach people there's an epidemic,
right,
but we got to provide them help.
Absolutely.
How do we do that?
You got to ask questions. You got to reach out. We can't be afraid to ask questions. There's many people, I can't think of anyone who hasn't been touched by addiction in one way or another these days. So I receive a lot of calls every day, and it's concerned parents, concerned family members, people who don't know which way to turn and how to help their loved ones. So the biggest thing is to continue calling and to ask questions, finding out if there's licensed psychiatrists, licensed therapists, if the facilities are accredited, if they are NATAP certified and regulated by some means. It's very important to ask questions and to learn about the facility before you send them somewhere.
Now, when you say you get calls all the time, mm-hmm. How do they find you? Is it on the internet, or are they just?
There's many avenues you can go by. You can Google us. You can go to your nearest health department, to the hospital. We are out in the community branding the organization and letting people know that the help is there. I try to work as a navigator. My goal as a person in recovery is to find ways for people to find treatment and letting everyone know that the help is there and there are resources available.
And you're saying when people are calling, they're at a point where they're pretty desperate.
Absolutely.
I would imagine.
Yes.
I'm always been curious. When people call a treatment center, it's usually a family member, or is it the addict themselves? What do you hear?
It depends. Right now, with the epidemic in the way that it is, there's a lot of families with young children who are experimenting with drugs and are completely lost. So the families are calling and reaching out. In some cases, you have someone who's been using for many years and they've been through the system a lot, and they're reaching out on their own. They finally feel broken and ready enough to ask for help and make a change.
So when they call, your process at Fresh Start is once you get them on the phone, you talk to them, what's the next step?
The next step is assessing them. We want to make sure that they are, one, not in risk of any seizures. Anybody withdrawing from alcohol or benzodiazepines can be a very concerning withdrawal process. So we first want to make sure they're medically safe. Secondly, we will clinically assess them. We will ask them questions about their treatment history, substance abuse history, any mental health history. And then following that, it'll be assessed by our clinical team, making sure that we're the appropriate program for them, making sure that they will get the help they need by coming to our center. It would be foolish of us to think that we can serve everyone. Each center is different, so getting them to the place they need to be is the most important piece.
That assessment sounds like the most important thing someone can do.
Absolutely.
So if you get them in for that assessment, then at least you can work with that person or that family and say, look, you know, you need something long term. You need something medication. You
Exactly.
can assess that and be able to put them in the right direction.
Absolutely.
So would that be, for people watching in, different states, I mean, when they call, they should say, I want an assessment, an evaluation?
Exactly. Say that they need help. This is how we go about it. Getting them that assessment is the first step, and it is the most important step.
Because that guides them.
Exactly. That gives us an idea of what we can do to give them the best treatment possible.
So I would imagine that if you guys are doing that at Fresh Start, then probably most programs have an assessment.
I would hope
piece.
so. Yes. Yes.
But they should.
They should.
Right?
Most
If they
definitely.
don't, then that's what the public should be looking for.
Exactly. If you're not getting clinically assessed before coming into a treatment program, there's probably an issue.
That some might say, oh yeah, come on in, sure.
Right.
What kind of insurance do you have?
Exactly.
Right.
It can't just be about the insurance. It
Right.
has to be about the client's best interest. What are we doing? What can we provide this client to make sure they're getting the treatment possible to have long-term success
Right.
in recovery?
Right. But insurance is important.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I know I tell anybody I talk to, make sure you got your policies up to date on substance abuse, mental health for your kids.
Exactly.
It's important. You never know.
You never know. And,
I don't think anyone thought we'd be at this point with this epidemic.
No, absolutely not.
So that's it. That's a big part of it because look, it's not cheap.
No, it's not. Unfortunately, the insurance companies have a big hold on the treatment and recovery world. So to make sure that you are able to provide that insurance, to make sure your loved ones are able to get the help they need.
Matt Paris, Director of Community Outreach at Fresh Start Recovery Program. It's in Gaithersburg, Maryland, but you serve that whole region. And Amethyst Health is all in many different states.
Yes.
So just look them up on their website. Anyway, thank you for getting us
Absolutely.
started. You're going to come back in a little while and talk some more, so
All
thank
right.
you.
Sounds good.
When we come back to Straight Talk, we're going to hear a really unique concept of a program, and that's working with people that have already graduated, the alumni, just like a high school. It's phenomenal. It's fantastic. Stay with us. We're coming right back to Straight Talk.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Hi, welcome back to Straight Talk. We're talking about the role of treatment centers in the community. What's their role in the community? And one of the things that a lot of people aren't aware of is that, once you finish a program, whether it's 30 days, 60 days, 6 months, a year, you got to go back in the community. But at the same time, what do we do to make sure that they have support? And a really unique concept is the program of trying to have an alumni, just like you were in a high school. And joining us is Francesca Rossi, who is an alumni coordinator at the Fresh Start Recovery Center. And I just love the idea. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I just love the idea. Tell me about alumni and what you do as coordinating the alumni.
So for coordinating alumni, it's mostly about support. I mean, after you leave a treatment center and you're getting clean, it's hard to do it by yourself. I mean, I don't know who can do it by themselves, so it's easier to have a network of other people that are doing the same thing that you're trying to do. And then on top of that, there's like other things to do as people in recovery, like learning how to have fun again, doing events or places to go when you need help, somewhere you can reach out when you do need a little more help.
So do you have like a certain time and place? Like when someone leaves a program and they successfully, hopefully, and they become part of the alumni group? Mm-hmm. Is that how that works?
So we have like social media groups where as soon as you leave, we like to add you onto it. The social media groups are a good platform to like be proud of yourself. You know, I've got 30 days, I've got 60 days, and you can share that with other people and give the other people in the group hope that they can get there too. I know recently, especially, everybody's been posting a lot of like inspirational quotes, you know, just trying to help each other out, like, good morning, have a great day today, or whatever they like to post to each other, you know. But I like to keep in touch like throughout the whole process, you know. There's not like an exact amount of time that I'll like wait or to call and reach out and make sure they're doing okay, see if there's anything that they're struggling with or need help with.
Oh, and talk to me about that, about the struggle once you leave, because you go from being on drugs, then you're in a rehab, and things work out well, and you stop, and now you're ready to go back. What's that like?
I mean, for me, it was tough. It was tough, especially because I came from another state. So I came out of state to a facility, to a new place. After I completed treatment, you know, now you're back in the world. So it's like trying to find the right people that are doing the right thing, trying to stay sober like you are. So for me, a lot of it was trying to connect with the same people and getting a job. Something as simple as getting a job is hard, you know. People will post, you know, I need help with this, or I need help with that, or I need a ride to work today, whatever the case may be, you know, it just makes it a little bit easier to try to be successful.
Do you think when people go to a recovery center in another state or another city, that when you get out, it may be best to stay there rather than go back to your old neighborhood? Because, you know, we see a lot of people who become recidivists from prison because they go back to the same neighborhood. And what else is there to do but hook up with the same old friends that got you in trouble? Treatment centers are all over the place. Mm-hmm. And I always wondered, if you stayed out there instead of going back, would that be better?
I mean, you hear it all the time, people, places, and things. You hear it all the time. And you hear it for a reason, you know, because people have gone back to the same people, the same places, doing the same things, and it hasn't worked for them. So, I mean, I'm sure there's ways that you could go back to where you were living and do the right thing. I mean, for me, I couldn't.
Right.
I mean, I've tried it before. I've tried to stay in New Jersey, where I'm from, and go to a program there and go right back home doing the same thing I was doing before, and it did not work. For me, I needed to change my location. I needed a whole new.
Yeah, I always thought that was something that made a difference in what happens. So when they leave that program, and then what? You got to find a job or go back to school. Do you help them with that?
I mean, I can help as much as I can from also being an alumni standpoint. You know, like I'll get phone calls like, hey, Francesca, I need help with finding a job. Do you know anywhere that's hiring for what I can do? Or Francesca, do you know how to get food stamps? Or Francesca, I can point you in the right direction. I might not know how to do all these things, you know, but I can definitely point people in the right direction of where they can go for help with that kind of stuff.
And if you have enough alumni, it's kind of like,
I can be like, you know,
the massive mind
Joe
of
Smith
a lot
is great
of people.
at it, you know, call him. I know he helped so-and-so, you know.
And that helps. And a lot of that's either social media, or do you meet?
So every Tuesday, once a week, we do have like a support group. And it's from 6 to 8 where you can come if you're struggling, if you're not struggling, if you just want to talk about something, if you just want to be around people that are doing the right thing. We meet up every week. And then once a month, we have an alumni event, which are my favorite. It's just, for me, getting clean, a big part of it was learning how to have fun again. And we started having these alumni events, and they're just so much fun. Everybody has so much fun, and everybody's having so much fun in recovery, staying clean.
Because they're clean.
Right. So we do those once a month, and we have, social media where you can post like, I got 30 days today, I got 60 days today, I got a year clean today, and everybody can keep in touch through.
It's interesting because, again, because of social media, what a great example of how to use it in such a positive way. I mean, 10 years ago, we didn't have that. Now it's a big part of everybody's life, and you can stay connected, which is way different than it used to be.
I think social media for us is like the biggest platform for us to stick together and stay connected to each other. I mean, after you leave treatment, it's not like you immediately know all the people that you were in treatment with, or you don't know who's going to do the right thing, or who's going to continue to try to get better, So social media is a way for people to reach out to each other. Like, I just moved here because I stayed here after treatment, and so did you. Do you want to go to a meeting together? Do you want to go get coffee together? Do you want any type of thing like that?
And when you say meeting, you're talking either an AA, NA, some kind of 12-step support. So they have that, and then they have the alumni. So is it a matter of just keeping them busy, occupied, that there are things that are happening that are positive, that are drug-free, that are...
I think that's an important part of it, making sure they're busy. I mean, like, it's never helpful to just be bored around the house with nothing to do and just thinking about something else that you could be doing that might not be as...
So if somebody were, family, I imagine families involved somehow. You may not go back to the same neighborhood, but there is a connection, I hope, with the family.
I mean, I get calls from, moms asking me about, so-and-so, is he working? Do you know if he got a job? Or is so-and-so still doing good?
And families probably thrilled
that
you're somewhere else doing well. And because probably every family struggled with an addict for all kinds of terrible things. So they must be happy for you.
They're super happy. Families are always there's some people that I call and the wives will answer the phone so happy, be like, oh, Francesca's on the phone. Talk to Francesca. She wants to tell you about the next event.
Because you're their link.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the alumni package, the whole thing with alumni is terrific. Reminds me of it's just really a great idea. But so thank you, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And you're going to stay, and we'll bring Matt back and keep talking about this, because I want people to know that, hey, there's help out there, but here's what you need to do to make it work.
Right.
So hang in there, stay with her.
Okay.
When we come back to Straight Talk, we're going to continue talking about the role of treatment centers, people in recovery, and integrating back into the community. It's a really big part of recovery and something that everyone needs to help with. So stay with us. We're coming right back to Straight Talk.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
French fries. Finding best potatoes.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
So they say it's a man's world? Well, I don't see anybody's name on it. While they were out doing their thing, we slowly changed all that. We changed all that. Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Hi, welcome back to Straight Talk. We're having a great conversation about the role of treatment centers in the community, both from the treatment side and both from recovery, the people that are in these programs. They're coming back in the community. We need to support them, as much as we can. And we're joined back, Paris is with us, and Francesca Rossi, both from the Fresh Start Recovery Center, which is in Gaithersburg, Maryland, part of the Amatus Health network of treatment centers. Welcome back, Matt.
Thank you.
Let's continue our conversation, because when we talk about alumni, we talk about program, I want to talk a little bit about the family.
Absolutely.
Because I know, Francesca, you went to another state for treatment, and was your family involved when you were in treatment at all?
Not much. I mean, I have my brother who would beg me to please go get help, go get help, go get help. And now he's so proud of me. He's super proud of me. And even when his friends are struggling or something, he'll call me and just be like, do you think you could just talk to my friend? Do you think you could just help my friend?
Right. That's what recovery, you can always help somebody. But and now, Matt, in the treatment component, again, you're getting people from all over.
Absolutely.
And there's treatment centers all over the country. Do they try to get the family involved?
Yes, it's very important. The family component of treatment is very essential. So we do encourage it. We first want to talk to the client, make sure that they are comfortable with that process. We check in with the family if they're open to it. And once we make sure that it is a healthy relationship or has the possibility to be a healthy relationship, then we'll bring them in. And it's very important to have them connected throughout that process.
And do you have separate programs for them?
So we do offer a support group for family members. Yep, absolutely.
You think about what they went through dealing with their addict, whoever that may be in their family, that part of recovery. Because again, we talked last segment, do you go home? Do you stay where you are? Do you become part of a network? And that family is pretty important, I would imagine.
They say it's a family disease, right?
Yeah.
So what the addict is doing when they're out and they're running the streets, it has a lot of effect on the close family members, the people closest to them who care about them.
Right.
So it's important to make sure that we get the person who needs help the treatment and then help the family as well, so we can build them back together.
Yeah. Now, Matt, you're out in the community. You're telling people about your program and letting them know what's going on. Who are you going after? Are you going after hospitals, schools? Who do you reach out, to try to reach?
I try and make my voice as loud as possible to whoever will listen. So I speak with hospitals, I speak with health departments, I do speaking engagements at schools. Getting to the young people is more my passion, letting them know about what can happen, right? But I let anyone and everyone know. I speak to other treatment facilities and let them know that we can be a resource for them. We are an aftercare program, so letting people know that we're here as a resource for you and anyone you come in contact with to help build the bridge, right? Making sure that the community is coming together as a whole and we can be a resource for people.
I think with this epidemic that we're dealing with, obviously there's not enough treatment. That's a big thing. So the people who are opening centers, I imagine you're seeing a lot of people now going into the community with new centers.
Absolutely.
Trying to open up. But that would probably be mostly what, private?
It is a lot of,
you're seeing.
Yep, it's a lot of private treatment. There's a lot of centers popping up here in Maryland, and a lot of people look at it as competition, and I want to help the community look at it as building bridges. Again, there cannot be enough beds. We need more treatment.
So people that are watching from anywhere in this country, that are watching this show, the first step you would tell them, if they've got someone that needs help, would be to do what?
Is to reach out, ask for help, and get an assessment. Get an assessment done, see where you're at, see what level of care you need, and let us help you find it.
and make sure that the program is
Appropriate.
legit.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I would imagine there's a lot of bad programs that are out there, you know. I mean, what would you say to somebody? I mean, you say you get calls all the time saying, hey, I've got a friend. And you've been there. You know what's going on. What would you say to somebody?
I mean, it all depends usually if the person even is seeking help, you know what I mean? Sometimes people aren't even receptive to what you have to say. And I mean, when things like that happen, I always say, like what's the worst that can happen if you just talk for a couple minutes, or if you just reach out or talk about what's going on? Like, you can't really go wrong. There's not, if you don't want to hear what we have to say, or if you don't want help at the end of the conversation, then that's okay, but at least you reached out, at least we tried. At least the family can feel better knowing that they tried.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It is. It's very
a tough
difficult.
one. You guys are in a tough business, you know, of dealing with it. The concept of your program, that you live in one place and then you come to another place for treatment. It seems to be a big model.
Yes.
That's going on. Is that efficient? Is that, you know, does that work better?
I find it to be very effective. There is residential facilities where a client can go and seek treatment, and that is very beneficial as well. And this model of treatment allows you to have a little bit more of a home feel. You know, you're living in a residential home. It's very comfortable. And then going to a clinical building where you can focus on your clinical treatment.
So they sleep there. And then during the day or evening, they go over to the center for treatment.
Correct. Yeah. So they're in the clinical building Monday through Friday, 9 to 3. They're receiving actual clinical treatment, and then they go back to the recovery residences where they're learning life skills. They're learning how to be productive members of society again.
Yeah, that's pretty fascinating. I mean, that's probably less expensive too.
Absolutely.
When you think about it, how do they eat?
So
they eat back at the house.
They eat back at the house. They're learning how to grocery shop. They're learning how to budget money. They're learning how to cook and clean for themselves, do their own laundry. And again, I got clean when I was 20 years old. I didn't know how to barely put a sentence together, let alone do my own laundry. And through programs like this is how you learn to be a productive member of society again.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. I can't thank you guys enough, you know, for being on the show. I mean, it's just so helpful. I mean, trying to get this information out and sharing your stories, you know, of what you've been through and where you are now, just shows there's hope.
Absolutely.
You know, treatment works. You know, people may not think that, but it does. And we need more of it, for sure. So thank you both very much for being on the show. Today on Straight Talk, we're talking about all kinds of efforts that are reaching out into the community. We have two great people here from a Fresh Start program. It's part of the Amethyst Health system. Their number's been up there. If you need help, give them a call. Thank you guys for being on the show. Thank you for watching Straight Talk, and we'll see you next time.